Hello, welcome to my May Empties, and I want to give a special happy birthday shout out to everyone I know. First up for books, this was a library book, so I don't have a copy of it with me now, but I read The Story of the Lost Child, which is the last book in the Neapolitan Quartet. You guys have heard me talk about these books before, so I don't need to get too into it, but basically the deal with this one, I would say, is that it starts out feeling the most hopeful, and then some of the worst stuff happens in it. I do recommend them, but only if you're like okay with stuff being a bummer, you know what I mean? And then secondly for books, I did not read this whole book because it's 5 books, maybe 6, I think it's 6. And I had already read the first 2, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. So, I just read Life, the Universe, and Everything. This is my dad's copy, by the way. I borrowed it. Thank you. So this is the one that I read. And you've heard me talk about these two, I think. But basically, they're very funny. They're very British. They're not like, but the plot of them does ultimately feel pretty random, but I am impressed with the amount that he kind of seeds things that come up later. Like, he does a good job of kind of making it feel okay that what's happening doesn't make sense, because like you are impressed with how it all weaves together. You know what I mean? And it's funny because the first 3, it seems to me, are kind of like a trilogy, and then the next 2 are going to be like addendums to that. And the first 2 have like no ending, basically. They just like stop happening, and you're like, oh, and then it's like, okay, we'll keep reading. And then the third one, the ending like is basically also like that, but just slightly more complete. And so it does, at the first 2 I was like, this is how he's doing the series, and then the third one I was like, I think he's just not an endings guy, you know. But you know, I think what he aims to do, he really succeeds at. Somehow I watched so few movies this month, basically I think because me and all my roommates are on crazy schedules that are different from each other right now. But the first one I have is Keeping the Faith. Technically this was last month, I think, but I think I forgot to do it. And this was a Ben Stiller movie I had never heard of, but it was really good, and get ready for this, it was pretty sexy. Okay, so that's my review of this. I thought it was funny. It was like, I would put it on par with like a Cameron Diaz movie in terms of tone, and very enjoyable. And it's honestly, you know what, it's like pre-Challengers, and I haven't seen Challengers, but I'm right. This movie was incredible. Okay, my perception of it, what I had heard about it mainly was that it's stressful, but it's different from a lot of stressful movies in that like the main character, Adam Sandler, has many opportunities to sort of stop the bad stuff that's happening, and he makes the wrong decision over and over again, so you don't feel so much like he's like the victim of the situation, you know what I mean? And it's really funny, and the acting is phenomenal. I thought it was really good. I wasn't sure if I would like it because I don't always love like, you know, artsier stuff, but I think that it really delivers on a lot of levels. The plot is compelling, the performances are well done, the comedy, the suspense. Recommend. I watched a new season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'll just give a quick recap on my thoughts, basically on the 2 main things. I don't love Amanda, but I think they're being too mean to her. I think they're showing their, you know, it's not a good look for them, the way they're dealing with that they don't like her. And basically I'm getting kind of fed up with Dorit's attitude right now. I don't think Kyle's always right, but I think Dorit is like really avoiding having any kind of real conversation about anything. She's always bringing stuff up and then dancing around it, and like not being willing to genuinely get into it. And she like just wants it to be a fight. And it's like, okay, then I would take my hands off in that situation. And that's basically, I think, at this point what Kyle's doing. So those are my opinions. Thank you for listening. My Dagan doesn't want me to talk to them about Housewives, so I'll talk to you. I finally finished watching Search Party. I watched like the first 2 seasons of this a while ago, but then there were 3 more seasons I never watched. I really, really liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. I will say, I think season 3 is my favorite kind of by far. Season 1 is also really good. every season's really different with a really different tone. And so I like some of them better. I like the funnier ones better than like the more suspenseful ones. And basically, like, I think in general, it achieves a kind of humor that is really unique to it, in my opinion. I think that that's awesome. I love that kind of thing. And it has a lot of great comedians that I really respect in it, but it's kind of just inconsistent in terms of like what's good about it from season to season. And especially the last season felt a little bit like, okay, this is interesting, but it wasn't like bringing the stuff to the table that had brought me, you know, into it previously. And especially there were like the last season had by far the most like comedians that I recognize in it, and I felt like most of them were like drastically underutilized. So that's my opinion coming off of the last season, but season 3 was unbelievably funny and so good, and I really like season 4, and I like season 5. So overall, great show, thumbs up. And then lastly for TV, I watched the new season of Abbott Elementary also. I really liked it. I thought there were like a handful of episodes, maybe more than in past seasons, that felt kind of like underdeveloped or like they, you know, were kind of repetitive or needed punch-ups or whatever. But most of the episodes were really good. And I think the longer the show goes on, the more the characters have interesting things going on with them. I really like Jacob's brother that's been coming in more. And it's already renewed. It got renewed for a new season before this season even finished airing. So the people like it. And I don't think I've done a podcast before, but I finished listening to every episode of Exploration Live this month also, which if anybody has ever talked to me, they've probably been annoyed by how much I bring that up, especially recently. And yeah, I just love this podcast. It's still coming out, so I'm not like done listening to it, but I listen to all of the old episodes, and I just love the way they talk about things. It's just kind of my podcast of choice these days. But now that I finished it, I'm also listening to a couple new podcasts. There's one that I listened to a while ago called Say More that and they're not still making it, but I've been listening to episodes I haven't listened to yet of that. And at my sister's recommendation, I started listening to Artist on Artist on Artist on Artist, which has been really, really funny and awesome. So I'm excited about this new journey for me where I don't just have one podcast that I listen to, even though I'm kind of bummed out that there's less Exploration Live for me. I also finished a video game this month called Mutazione. I finished the body of this a little while ago, but there was like a little epilogue that I hadn't done. And I really liked it. It was very visually beautiful, and it's got like a kind of a interesting like music element that's related to the plot. So there's like compelling sound design there. I thought the plot was really compelling. The gameplay is like a little relaxed, like a lot of it is walking around talking to people, and then you like plant these gardens, like you go around and collect seeds and plant these gardens. And so it didn't like keep me as much as other video games have. Like it took longer for me to finish. But I thought it was, especially like towards the end when the plot was coming together, really compelling. And there's some funny elements and some characters I love. If you play it, Bo Peck's my favorite dude. I love me some Bo Peck. Yeah, I would recommend it, especially if you like story-based games. We've got a few regular groups this month, and then I also, as I said last month, filmed some stuff I got at the refill store that basically is not stuff I emptied this month necessarily, but it's stuff that I like went and got more of. And the refill store basically is like you bring, like they don't have anything in containers, so you bring your own jars and bags and containers and then you fill them up. Okay, so first for Goops, I finished homemade deodorant. And I actually got like a natural deodorant for Christmas in my stocking. Not a hint. I think that my parents just like to get us some toiletries in our stocking. Okay, it's not because I'm stinky. Otherwise it wouldn't be natural deodorant. Am I right? So normally I kind of have to time finishing this like for when I do the Empties videos so that I can show the empty jar and then go make more and not have no deodorant. But that's the one that I got for Christmas is providing a nice buffer there. So this always works for me pretty well. I like it, and you can kind of vary up what essential oils you use and stuff if you make more of it. So I like to do that. You can ask me for the recipe, you comment below or text me if you want it. You don't, probably, because you're probably my mom if you want it and you already have it. So I also finished this face wash. This was an interesting situation where it's like a stick that you're supposed to like screw and it comes up, but it was very liquidy, like it kind of lost its shape, and so then like twisting this thing, like the piece that's supposed to push it up just went through it, you know what I'm saying? So then I kind of had to like keep it upside down in the shower for a while and then kind of like scoop it out from the lid or whatever. So that's my only complaint really. It smells nice and it's not like gritty, but I did find it like, I feel like maybe there was like some kind of acidic component that does like an exfoliating. Is that something that happens? Because I did find it to be kind of exfoliating. And then lastly, my mom's gonna be so thrilled, I finished this B12 that my mom also got me. It's a big, I'm talking about my mom a lot, but you know, she's the lady of the hour. And she's, you know, I don't eat meat, so she's always saying vegetarians should take B12 supplements because that you don't get it unless you eat meat usually. And so I took again, I think I got these in my stocking, and so I finished them. Thank you, Mom. And now for my refills. First up is these black beans. Henry's been into using dried beans and I tried them too. They're great. Next up is some hand soap. I put it in this bottle when I filled it, and then we use this pump bottle to dispense it out of. You saw last month I finished this jar of CeraVe lotion, so I filled it with lotion from the refill store, which is great because I really like the jar, so it's nice I can reuse it without having to get a new one. Ran out of smoked paprika, got some more. These are banana chips there for Henry. I didn't fill them all the way okay, but sorry about that, if that makes me a bad person. Okay, and lastly, I got this coconut oil. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna have coconut oil because it's kind of solid and you might have to like scoop it out in an awkward way. But then they had it in this big like oil drum with a spigot, and I poured it out, it came out liquid, and I was like, I didn't know coconut oil could be liquid. And then I brought it home, so this is it liquid, but then as it sat in the pantry it solidified, so they were actually, it seems like, keeping it warm inside the oil drum. And that's gonna do it for my empties video for May. I'll try to watch more movies next month, you guys, okay? Or read more books or something. If you have any movie recommendations, you can comment those below, because I can watch movies alone, by the way, but usually when I do, I kind of am like, don't know what to watch, or I watch a horror movie from my list, but I haven't been so in the mood for that lately. So comment your movie recommendations below. This is what I'm like, so you know what I like. I like Cameron Diaz. I like a lot of time if I'm watching something alone, this is what I want, is like a rom-com or like a light kind of comedy movie, something you get a glass of wine, Camila Mendes, you know what I mean? Or, right? Or is that the singer? Camila Mendes is the actress from Riverdale. She's in Riverdale. She's from all sorts of things, Palm Springs and whatnot. So that's good. But I also watch something suspenseful. You guys know me. But nothing where something gross happens where it's like too real. That's what I don't want. Nothing too real where it's like political, probably, unless it's cathartic. Okay, thank you. Have a great month and I'll see you later. Bye.